Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 27th. And the other day we got our little retrace back to the ABM yellow and supporting off it right now. And we recognized that we saw this massive move of white up, and it wouldn't take much for magenta to decline, particularly now making a lower high. And same with the yellow. Cross below, but obviously the daily looking below the 33 would certainly pose a much more dramatic effect if the OC spread, which would be cyan moving above green. Hasn't happened yet, but as you can see, higher highs, much lower shakeout. I think it just means that we're going to start to see broader ranges, and it's all good stuff. We had the dip below yesterday of magenta below white. It's popping back up above now on the NASDAQ as it hit the ABM yellow, and that's just a normal effect when we get between 176% when the ABM moves up in between. We expect moves back to it. And we almost had a spider, but bulls kept it alive by keeping the green above cyan and shorts fading off that they were happy with that small decline. It was enough for them. Of course, gold making its slight build back up, and that's just the following 100% is going to hold price up to meet it. So expect gold to be holding its own, at least from this standpoint. It's a little bit weak with the DSC readings, but catastrophic at this particular stage. Euro's not doing a whole lot of anything, but you can imagine with this kind of buy move and not really producing anything, as soon as that magenta turns, you can see another leg down for the euro. And from a crypto standpoint, Bitcoin had met with that move to 0%, stayed with it because of the white above magenta, but finally it caught a little bit of support as the white dip below red, which literally happened right as we hit that buy configuration. Still was a little weak, but building off of that as we start the day. Looking at current market, just a bull run after doing what? Oh, that's right, filling the positive extreme that we had from way back before. We came close to it during the intraday. Wasn't quite enough, and so after hours buddies took care of that. Wasn't enough of a move off of this buy signal to really flip anything, but certainly the turnaround move as soon as white dipped below magenta just took right back off, and literally hanging around at the same algo levels. So, and this was from a couple of days back. If we go back to where the positive extremes were off the run, I mean, it was way back here. Keep scrolling. So we had this big burst move right here. We marked them. That was what day was that? It was all the way back on the 23rd. So still having its play, and that's just the longer effect because we haven't seen significant enough volume to adjust that. But I think we started to see a little bit of a change in that just yesterday. I mean, it's a much bigger range for a day than we've had, and it was pretty clear. I mean, every time we ended up with significant weakness, magenta and yellow dipping and then weight moving above, that created the move that led to each of the zero retraces, and even in after hours, just a brief stint of it before turning around. But filling just like we look for, but still bouncing back off of it. So bulls are not dead yet, and shorts certainly, even when we see it on the daily, are really not all that interested in fighting the Fed at this particular point, though it's coming into some troubling periods for the Fed, at least on what they're going to do with their balance sheet. Can they continue to just keep massively pumping this much liquidity? If at any point they do decide to begin a taper sooner, I think that's when you really will begin to see some kind of effect. But with the euro zone being as weak as it is, and that the U.S. is still the only ballgame in town at this particular stage with uneven economic growth, you get no alternative. So it's just a matter of when we see weakness, we know we can play, particularly when we're looking at soft setups within the daily as well as even in the 50K range. Just play with what is available and take advantage of it that way. As always, though, at the end of the week, I'll be setting up for indicators for September, and I think that will be the return back of all the big boys, and we'll start to see some significant action playing into that. And so that's the hope and expectation going into As always, though, I'll continue to put up charts, trade well. I'll talk to you later.